Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today here in person in our historic UIW campus and from our Mexico campuses and everywhere else via live stream. Bienvenidos. Welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Ana Briviesca-Hoff. I am the Director of Alumni Relations here at UIW and a very proud two-time alumna. I am so excited to be here and welcome you all to Homecoming 2024 and to our second annual President's Homecoming Address. Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping notes. For our in-person guests, as you were walking in, you were handed a raffle ticket. Please hold on to these as we will be having a raffle after our remarks for 4 gift boxes and a large gift basket. We also have refreshments in the back of our room, and at this time, I will ask that you please silence your phones. And finally, if everyone can please go ahead and take your seats so we can begin. Our theme of the President's Homecoming Address this year is an era of opportunity. As an alumna and now an employee, I can say that UIW has provided me with so many wonderful opportunities, and it's a place I am very proud to call home. In my role, I am honored to be working with alumni every day, and I know that they share this experience with me. To our alumni and our audience and joining us remotely, thank you for celebrating homecoming and for supporting the work that we do to make sure that we continue to provide these opportunities to our Cardinals today and tomorrow, because they are doing amazing things. And in that spirit, I would now like to introduce one of these amazing Cardinals and our next speaker. Please help me welcome Student Government Association Officer, the Dean's List honoree, a flight program peer mentor, a true student leader, and in a few short weeks, a proud alumna. Please welcome Galilea Garcia.
All right, well, thank you, Ana. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 UIW President's Homecoming Address. So my name is Galilea G. Garcia, and I'm a proud Cardinal and student leader. And I would like to begin by asking you to please join me in reciting the University of the Incarnate Word prayer. Okay, perfect. Okay. Jesus Christ, the Incarnate Word, Son of God and Son of Mary, you are Emmanuel, God with us. We praise and thank you for your life, your love, your death, and resurrection. We ask you to please send your Holy Spirit to enlighten with your truth and to inflame our hearts with love for you and for all human persons everywhere on earth. Soften our hearts to the needs of the poor. Inspire us to use the knowledge we are acquiring here to understand better your plan for creation. Bring about justice and alleviate human suffering everywhere on your good earth. Mary, Mother of Jesus and Mother of the Church, pray that we will always say yes to God's call in our life. Amen. Perfect. All right. So, when the president's office reached out to me to offer today's remarks, I was very excited for the opportunity, and I was proud to represent students at this event. And naturally, I said yes. So, I love UIW, love homecoming at UIW. I love the spirit that's in the air and how our community feels so much bigger at this time of year. Our alumni come back, many of our parents and families are visiting, and we get to celebrate UIW as one big extended family. It is exciting to see how many people love and appreciate this university, and it's so motivating for our students. For those alumni, and for many of you, and for me, UIW is home, and I want other students to feel that way too. UIW has created so many opportunities for me, and it has been important for me to pay it forward. As a student leader, I am involved in many organizations and groups, but one of my favorite activities is being a flight peer mentor. I was in the first class of students involved in flight, and I had an amazing mentor who always made me feel supported. The next year, I decided to become a peer mentor myself, supporting students, encouraging them to become other student leaders, so joining biology club, philosophy club, student government, or anything else in general that inspires them. And now some of my mentees are mentors themselves, and they are continuing to help ensure that new classes of students love UIW as much as we do. And in a few weeks, I will hopefully, I still have to pass my classes. But I will hopefully, I will hopefully cross the stage at graduation with my degree in political science and minor in history. And from there, I will continue on toward my goal of becoming a lobbyist for immigrant and refugee rights. I know that because of my experience here, the opportunities I have been given, and all the wonderful people who have been like family to me, I will continue to keep the mission in my heart, work to create a better world, and continue to serve others. And now, I am so excited for the future, for what the future has in store for me, my fellow Cardinals, and for UIW. And I know that we are all excited to hear more. So now it is my pleasure and honor to introduce our homecoming address keynote speaker, UIW President Dr. Thomas Evans.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out for the second annual homecoming address. I think we'll keep going with this, I'm sure. But it's really great to see so many of you out here. And I know that there are people online as well. I've already heard from many that are watching, so thank you for joining us online. And then, of course, we have our campuses in Mexico, where I also understand that many are joining us. So to all of those at our campuses in Mexico, at Centro Universitario Incarnate Word and Campus Bajío, bienvenidos. We're very glad that you're here with us virtually as well. I don't know about you, I was really struck by hearing both Ana and Galilea. Thank you both for your introductions. Yeah, how many times they used the word love, and how many times they said that they love UIW and loved so many different things about it. And I keep coming back to this sign that's right here in the Student Engagement Center that was supposed to be up for 1 week. And that 1 week was the week of inauguration in 2018. And it says, in loving, we become the word. And I still can't take it down. I've told, please don't take it down until I tell you to, because I think it's just so true. So to hear you talk about your love for UIW and to think about what we're really loving here is what I would say, Lisa, thank you for being with us, my wife and I, this last Sunday, we had the Student Government Association over to our house for dinner, which we like to try to do at least one time a year and really get to know them better. And we had such an amazing time getting to know one another and hearing their stories and hearing about what's going on in the classroom and the faculty, hearing about parking, those kinds of things as well. But really such a wonderful time. And as they leave, Lisa and I say the same thing over and over, which is we really love our students. There's something very different about UIW students. They're different. And sorry, I should stop looking at my wife. So when I go out into the community, people will say, we always know who UIW graduates are, because they're different. And when I say, what is different about them? They say, well, they care about the whole person. Their care is evident, and they're formed wholly. So I think it's just so wonderful. And then to get to see Galilea, I hope I don't embarrass you by saying a little bit more about you, but Galilea is also not only is she on Student Government Association, as she's also is the president of the political science chapter for students here. She's the vice president of the Student Support of Refugees group on campus. She is also on the steering committee for our first generation student initiatives. And then, as you know, she's also a peer flight mentor. I'm pretty sure she's going to pass her classes and graduate in December. And really happy to have another example of the word in the world, as we call our graduates. So you will be the word in the world. And then, of course, we have a great example of the word in the world in Anna Hoff, two-time alumna, now leading all of our efforts for alumni. And we're very proud to have such amazing alums out there. And as Galilea said, Anna said that we're in an era of opportunity. That's the theme, and it's true. We're in an amazing era of opportunity at the University of the Incarnate Word, and I really don't think that every institution of higher learning can say that. They really can't. And we are unique. We are different. That's not hyperbole. That is the University of the Incarnate Word. We're in a position that most are not, and we have to take advantage of that. So let's take advantage of these different opportunities. And as I speak, I think you'll see what those opportunities are and how exciting they are for all of us and the work that we can do to have more graduates, to have more individuals be the word in the world. Very excited about homecoming. This is a great time to have our alums come back, but it's also just a time to celebrate all things that are the University of the Incarnate Word. You know, when we talk about the University of the Incarnate Word, many people have in mind this campus, and they think about the campus at Broadway and Hildebrand. And we are really fortunate to be located where we are. I have said many times, and it's not a joke, that the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word are very good at real estate. And that's not just here in San Antonio, that's also where we are on our campuses in Mexico. It also is true of our castle, our chateau of a location as a European Study Center. The real estate is really impressive. I have said if you were to have your choice of where you wanted to put a campus anywhere in the world, this might be exactly where you would put it. You would probably put it in San Antonio, Texas, because this is the fastest growing city in the United States pretty much every year. I know it has been 2 of the last 3 years. It's been the fastest growing city in the United States. It is in a beautiful location. Look at the greenery around it. You believe, I mean, look, so many trees on our campus and surrounding our campus. We're in the center of so many places of culture. There's a zoo literally across the street, museums, the Blue Hole, the source of the San Antonio River, right here. And what you do not see when we talk about Broadway and Hildebrand and the corner of Broadway and Hildebrand, this picture doesn't show the other corner of Broadway and Hildebrand, which is an amazing piece of property that we now own. And it certainly doesn't represent all of the locations of our health professions, St. Anthony Catholic High School, the campuses in Mexico. But this is kind of home, and it is a beautiful home that we have. But let's look a bit more at what our system looks like. And here you can see so many of the opportunities. We have, of course, our traditional programs on the Broadway campus with the five schools and 4 schools and college. Then you see the global, as I talked about, the campuses in Mexico, the European Studies Center, the Brainpower Connection, this collegial group that's really from pre-K through the university. Our health professions, which are our founding, but now continue to be expanded and extended, and even one of the schools with a name change because it has more programs in it with rehabilitation sciences. Online, through the School of Professional Studies and through Global Online. This is a lot. It's a lot to say grace over. It's great breadth. It's quite complex, but it adds to the excitement of who we are and what we can do. If we look a little bit beyond that, we can see our global enrollment here with 10,319 students this year. It is the 3rd largest class of first-time in college students in the history of the university, and that's last year was our largest. So two of the largest 3 in the history of the institution just recently. That is not something most private Catholic institutions can say. Our transfer enrollment was fantastic, which I think is showing so much at work in attracting more students to the institution. Our health professions enrollment is very stable, and that's really where it needs to be. We want it to be at capacity, of course, but we have caps essentially on our enrollment for the health professions. So that stability is terrific. And then Global Online continues to increase, both in non-degree and degree programming. Campus Bajío and CIW are on the rise, very healthy increases in the student bodies on both campuses. And a lot of that increase is in double degree programs. So the double degree programs are really unique. They're getting a Mexican accredited degree and a US accredited degree. That is not something that that's really offered probably anywhere else that I know of in its true form of a double degree. And those programs, we have been able to increase the number of double degrees that we offer, and it's also increasing in the student body. The School of Professional Studies has been in decline, and we need to turn it around. It's a very important part of the institution, and I feel confident that we will see growth in the School of Professional Studies very, very soon, particularly with many of the new initiatives that we have. One that's really exciting with Joint Base San Antonio. and the military to actually then teach on base, on the bases. So really exciting work that's happening there. So our system-wide enrollment increased 0.4%. That's not a huge increase, but it's an increase. And we will take that increase at 0.4%, especially with what's happening in higher education and some of the challenges. So I'll talk about some of those challenges, but congratulations to everyone here on what we see as a system. Our students, as I said before, and I'm not going to get emotional this time, but they're amazing. And it's a beautifully diverse student body. And here we see some of the representations. We are a Hispanic serving institution, a proud Hispanic serving institution. 54% of our student body is Hispanic, and over 70% minority. Just really, really an amazingly diverse student body. Many of our students are military. About 20% of the students here are in some kind of military affiliation. Really about 30% when you factor in yellow ribbon programs and all of the benefits of military and their family. That is sizable. And with the program I just mentioned, where we're going to be teaching on base, we'll see even more than that. Half of the School of Professional Studies is made up of active military. That's really something. And you see, an international student, we have 60 countries represented on this campus. That's a very healthy number of students. And when I meet with our international students, they really love it here. At the beginning of the school year, I meet all of the new students, and I'm looking at so many of the new students, and I say, "You're not a new student." And they say, "Well, no, I'm back for my master's degree." So they came here for study abroad, and then they come back for a graduate degree because they loved it here so much at the University of Incarnate Word. That is just such a great testament to what happens here. And then many of our students and many of our international students are student athletes. 23 teams, about 550 student athletes. It's a very good number of programs. It's the most in the state of Texas, the most teams in the state of Texas. So an amazing student body that we should be really so proud to have here. And we have done more to support them in funding our mission. I'm really pleased to tell you that this last year, we had a record in cash and pledges of $14 million. It's the most in the history of the university in support in cash and pledges. And so much of that was in new endowed scholarships to help our students. It's really terrific. 17 new endowed scholarships. It helps the students. It helps us operationally. It's really a great win-win. And so I'm looking forward to even more endowed scholarships and other programs that we can endow on campus. One of our alums right here, one of the first classes from the School of Pharmacy, and now a trustee, Chris Alvarado. Can you wave your hand? He and his wife Stephanie started an endowed scholarship, and their name's for students in pharmacy. Just this past year. Thank you, Chris, for doing that. And thank you, and thanks, Stephanie, and for your love. He's also an amazing grill master at tailgates. So he practically lives here on campus. And someone else who practically lives here on campus, when I first got here, I was able to meet a new trustee of ours whose family scholarship was the largest that we had at the institution, which was the Cheever family. It's our board chair, Suzanne Googe, who I think practically lives here on campus. So thank you, Suzanne, for your help. And as I also want to introduce the community to one of our newest trustees, Greg Kowalski. Thank you for joining us, Greg, and for all of your support of the University of Incarnate Word and our students. So wonderful to have that support, and congratulations, Advancement team. Wonderful work by Advancement, but it takes everyone to see this happen. So, one of the highlights for me was getting the Lopez Scholarship and having the Lopez Scholars on our campus. This is 15 incoming Latino students that are fully funded. So they're completely gapped, but then also have other opportunities for things that they might want to do, study abroad, research. It might even be computer equipment. There are a number of things that can happen. This is such a, I have to tell this story. I wasn't planning on telling this, but I love one of our students who's a Lopez Scholar. He also runs the 800 meter, which is a long distance that I don't want to run. And he's so he's on the track and field team. And while we were meeting with Sergio Rodriguez, who is the man who oversees the foundation for Gloria and Hector Lopez, who were his aunt and uncle, and they've created this foundation in order to support students like they were, first generation Latino students to get an education because they know the impact that had on their lives. So this student went up to Sergio Rodriguez and he said, "I have a question for you." He said, "I really want to go on to physical therapy for my doctorate in physical therapy, and I'm pre-PT. Is it okay if I finish in 3 years instead of 4 in order to do that and go into the program?" And Sergio Rodriguez kind of looked at him and sort of laughed and said, "That's exactly what we want you to do." But it was the ambition of our students, and those are the kind of stories again that kind of make me emotional from time to time. So really amazing. So Sergio and his wife Louise, they were here to greet all of the students in this room and their families. And after the event, Louise came up to me and she said, "I go to every one of these events at all of the different institutions where there are Lopez scholars." She says, "I have never seen so many families at any of these events." He said, "And I think that says a lot about what's happening at the University of the Incarnate Word." And that was one of the best things to be passed on to me. I mean, completely objective, just, here's what I'm seeing. And I just love that because I think, we talk about the UIW family, and we want that family to be an extension to the families of our students as well, and the fact that we had more of them here represented to be with our students, and for that to be that noticeable was really terrific. Yesterday, I sent out an announcement about the Lilly grant, and I'm very excited about this. $1.25 million funded by the Lilly Endowment. This is quite a lot of money for one grant like this from Lilly Endowment, and the fact that it's in Texas is really something because most of what they fund is in Indiana, and there's a pretty well-known Catholic institution in Indiana that oftentimes gets a good amount of this funding. So for us to have it at the University of Incarnate Word in something that's so mission-oriented, inspiring children's faith through the Catholic imagination. And I love the opportunity that this is going to present for our faculty to lead this, for our students, and then what it means for the children that are going to experience this. It's a wonderful thing for our community. And congratulations to Dr. Luella Diamico and to Dr. Sandra Guzman Foster for their work on this. I look forward to seeing what's happening. It's such a mission-directed grant and work, and it really took a lot of creativity and imagination to find ways that we can extend in really meaningful ways on and off campus. And it's another extension of a lot of our mission work that's out in communities. So you see here representations just from this past year. One is actually work that our students did at Central Fox, which is a partner in the area of Leon. As you remember, President Vicente Fox coming here a couple of years ago, and it's at his presidential library, an area where we're doing that work, and our students have ongoing opportunities there. And then we have an extension of our Liceo Cervantino, which is the middle school, high school, and technical school that's part of Campus Bajío. So really an amazing extension there. You also see work of mission and ministry and our faculty and work in health-related fields in the Philippines and Oaxaca, of course. Thank you. It's amazing work. And then you see also the Lewis Center and the work that's been done there over the years. So really incredible work that's again extending our mission. And when you think back to our very origins of Bishop Dubuis and his letter, our Lord Jesus Christ, suffering in the persons of the multitude of the sick and infirm of every kind, seeks relief at your hands. This is relief at your hands, the extension of the hands of Christ. So I thank you so much for that work. And all of this work is in the face of many challenges. And I would say kind of everything, everywhere, all at once. That's sort of the convergence of a lot of what has happened in our world, and especially in higher education. So when you think about there's been impacts from the government. Some of that is increased regulations for sure. But the FAFSA rollout was an absolute fiasco and debacle. And if you've seen kind of the GAO's report on what happened with the FAFSA, as cynical as you might be, it was that bad, if not worse. So it was that challenging. And for us to have brought in the third largest class in the history of the institution in the midst of those challenges. And what is not shared that I'll share with you now is our discount rate went down. So sometimes you'll hear institutions, well, we had this enrollment, and they spend a lot more, and it might really hurt institutions. For us, we did this in the face of all this uncertainty and these challenges, and brought in a great class academically. I love asking faculty, what do you think of this class? And they just say, I love this class. There you go, the word love. They love it, they love this class. I love hearing that. That is just fantastic. So I want to say a very special thank you to all of you, because it took everyone to bring in a class like that, and particularly admission, financial aid. Our financial aid team went through a lot. And so when you see them, give them a hug, because they're still dealing with some of these issues. Hopefully it will be sorted out in December. The December rollout will be smooth, but it's been rough. And then, of course, those that brought them in with all of our technology and videos and communication, Julie Weber and her team advising to bring them in, all the faculty, housing, first-year experience. All of you, thank you so much for what you did. I remember walking across here so many times and hearing voices like Earl Harmson's voice just booming, out to tell the prospective students and their families what the UIW experience is like. It took everyone, and it worked, and we're in so much better shape because of it. So thank you all. And financially, I don't need to tell you there's been inflation, and that has impacted us with utilities, insurance, food, just about every kind of cost you can imagine. So costs have gone up. Our students and their families are feeling that too. So we have to be very aware of our students and their families paying the tuition, and we need to also make sure that we are making the very best use of the tuition dollars that we have, and making sure that we have good cost control, that the increased costs don't outpace our revenue increases, which fortunately our revenues continue to increase year upon year, but we can't have the costs outpace the revenues. So thank you for all of your help with that. Population-wise, we're approaching an enrollment cliff, as they call it. So the number of 18-year-olds is in decline. It's going to get even more challenging. But fortunately, it's good to be in San Antonio, where you have population increase, at least an influx of population. But that doesn't mean that we won't have our challenges also still in recruiting students with an enrollment cliff ahead of us. And it's also another reason why having a program for essentially everyone, from as one person I heard say, from cradle to cane, we've got you covered. So we've got the whole lifespan really covered with our system. And how many institutions can say that? Not many. And then culturally, we do have to battle a decreased perception of higher education, and really kind of combat that. And I think with the programs that we have, we can certainly do that. So here's a look again at our system. So when I say cradle to cane, you can kind of see that, but you can really see it here. So the extension of that, and many of the other many of the other affiliated programs. So this chart, as I'm looking at it now, was brought to you by the Rosenberg School of Optometry. And if you're having some trouble seeing some of the words, we can help you out with that. And but you'll see kind of if we go starting at, I guess, around 7 o'clock with the brain power, that's where the cradle part comes in. You can see the extension of all of our partners there within the brain power connection. And then moving up toward 12 o'clock, the health professions, all the clinics that we have. I think it's really surprising to people when they hear how many different clinics and labs that we have affiliated with our health professions. Then, of course, you see the online, and then every program within our Broadway campuses has an extension. One of these is really fun. If you look at CHAS, College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences, the branch that comes out from the right says Broadway Bird Records. A couple of days ago, a student came into my office and brought me my very own Broadway Birds t-shirt, which you too can have if you go online. And there's advertising we have a new record, we have a record label. So that's, as part of our ever-growing entrepreneurial spirit. We now have one of the best recording studios, if not the best recording studio in the state here, and Broadway Birds is producing records. I guess we can still call them records, albums, CDs. They're not 8 tracks, probably not. Galileo, I'll tell you what those are later today. So. And then you'll see all the extension. Campus Bajío, I talked about Liceo Cervantino, Central Fox, I spoke about that earlier. So it is a real complex system. And as you've heard me say, we are better all together, working together, the sum of all our parts. Many years ago, I talked about it kind of in a biblical terms. We are many parts, but one body. We are many parts, many parts of the extension, but we're one university. We're one University of the Incarnate Word. We are one word. And I asked us to please be that evermore, thinking much more about how collectively we are much stronger than we are in our silos or as pieces or autonomous units. And so connecting all of those things is really important. One of our new community members, Vahid. Sorry, I hope you don't mind my singling you out here, Vahid, but pretty new to the University of the Incarnate Word as our interim CIO. He said to me in the first couple of weeks, he said, "You have everything here." It's true. We have everything. You have basically every kind of program imaginable, and then some, an extension. He said the trick is tying it all together, getting it all to work together. And that was a very astute observation very early on of who we are and what we need to do. You also see, you remember that back in 2017, this was a slide from my first meeting with faculty in August of 2017. I also embedded the number 1 in one because I encouraged us to be the best that we can be in all that we do, to try to be number 1 in everything that we do. And thinking that we can do that. We can and should strive for excellence. So I want to continue to encourage us to work together as one word and to try to be the best that we can be in everything that we do and try to be number 1 because, as you'll see, we can do it. Now, we are embarking on a strategic plan for 2031. Why 2031? That's when we turn 150 years old. That's our sesquicentennial. So that's kind of a good marker for us. It's not that far away when you think about it. So by 2031, what do we want to be? And so this has been an inclusive process. There have been many listening sessions. And I've put out a position paper with 3 kind of ideas to get the conversation started. And you see them here. Priority number 1 that I think we need to do no matter what, focusing on student success and robust enrollment for greater social mobility. We are good at social mobility. We are very good at that. We take many students, Pell-eligible students, retain them, they graduate, they get good jobs, their lives are lifted, their families' lives are lifted, their communities' lives are lifted. We all benefit from that, and we need to do an ever increasingly better job at retaining and graduating all of our students for greater social mobility and see that we have an even greater and more robust enrollment. And that comes from really focusing on the students and the student success. Priority 2, mission-integrated research and scholarship. And I do want to say something about this. Many people kind of focused in on this R2 status. I'm not saying we have to be R2. So what I'm saying is we're kind of close. We have enough research that we're doing right here at the University of Incarnate Word now that there's a lot more than people think of. What's amazing is how much of that is at the undergraduate level, faculty and students working together for research that most students don't experience until they're in graduate school. So when we have a poster session and we have students, and people say, boy, your doctoral students are doing incredible work. I'm like, that's a 19-year-old undergraduate student doing that kind of work. And an amazing testament to our faculty, people like Anna Valer, Veronica Acosta, this kind of research that you're doing with undergraduate students and the kinds of posters and work that they're doing is really incredible. Then when you think about that in terms of health professions, there are institutions that are partnering with other institutions to combine to be what we already have. So you'll see a minority-serving institution with a lot of undergraduate work and research, and health professions. Then you'll see them partnering with an institution with health professions. So a minority-serving institution partnering with a health professions institution. We are a minority-serving institution with health professions. We have it right here. So what kind of work can we do? Social disparities of healthcare, the kind of research that we can do that's very mission-directed, but true to who we are. And we have a lot of opportunities to do that kind of work here in San Antonio and in South Texas. And then priority number 3, becoming a seamless system. So us all working together and to doing all that in a way that is truly mission-directed, where mission is at the heart of everything we do, because it is our greatest differentiator. Other institutions do a lot of different things, and they do a lot of the things that we do, but they don't do it all necessarily in the context of a mission, and they certainly don't do it in the context of our mission and the great charism that we have inherited, that we've been gifted by the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word. It's our identity and purpose. It drives everything we do. It gives us guidance. It gives us context. And it frames our reputation on our public image, which is really very positive because it is so life-giving and so helpful. So with mission at the core, you think about these different areas of distinction. And again, you'll see other institutions that have these areas of distinction, but they don't necessarily have it with a mission that we have and anything like our mission. So we've talked a bit about all of these, but it's nice to see this in kind of a wheel, if you will. And in ways, it's a flywheel of things that help us with the mission intersecting in the center. So I'll give you an example of that. First of all is our academic distinction and liberal education. So we have a broad academic portfolio. I mean, the number of majors we have is astonishing, just about something for everyone. But we also have pipelines and pathways to getting here. We have service learning opportunities and high impact experiences at every academic level. And I was looking through some promo materials from a reputable, well-known, nationally branded Catholic institution the other day, and they boasted that 80% of their undergraduates are involved in some kind of service learning. I said, well, that's really nice. Someday maybe you'll get to 100% like we have. So, it's amazing. I mean, they 80%, I think that is a lot. But ours, our students don't stop at what we ask them to do. They keep going to do more of that. Our faculty attention and small class learning, it draws so many here, and people know that our faculty truly care and give the attention to students, and then the opportunities for more programmatic expansion. Health professions and our regional impact. This is, again, our founding. I mean, we're really founding as an institution for nursing and the health professions. So for that to be a part of our DNA when other institutions are trying to add these kinds of programs, and a lot of times they're trying to add them for enrollment growth, but it's who we are. It's who we've always been, and we're quite good at it. We're very good at it. And look at our passage rates on all of our exams, and you will see that we are exceptionally good at it and very good at it with the top in the state and the nation. Partnerships with hospitals, for example. We actually, the health profession deans and I we had lunch today with a CEO of a hospital system that's quite prominent. So there's so many different opportunities for us and pathways. But how these things intersect. So when you think about health professions and the regional impact and us as a Hispanic serving institution, a minority serving institution with great social mobility, we are the top Catholic university in the country to award health professions and related programs to Hispanic students. The top Catholic institution and one of the top private institutions in the country at that. 20% of Hispanic pharmacists in the United States are graduates of the Fike School of Pharmacy. And by the way, it seems like just about every pharmacist at HEB. So, that's really important to all of us. So that's a great major partner with us, for example. So many opportunities here that are really exciting. Then we see how these things come together. So our academic distinction, being an HSI, MSI, social mobility, the direct student link for social mobility, the cultural competencies that come with that, and then how we serve others, has led us to this designation among military and veterans to be number one according to Military Times. And we'll see if we can hang on to that ranking. I like our chances to try to hang on to that because I know that our teams are working really hard in the service to that. So last year I had a backpack that I shared with you. So I have a much cuter prop to share with you this year because I can't tell you the pride that I felt, and it was just great joy when something flew into my office from the Office of Military and Veterans Affairs. And it was this soldier right here. So, and the soldier came with a button that says #1 Best for Vets Colleges, UIW. So that #1 that was in the one word, here's an example of it. So Red can just watch from there. Thank you, Office of Military and Veterans Affairs. It was a really wonderful and cute way to learn about our distinction and to see it, to see a #1 related to UIW on a button on a soldier cardinal. So very, very fun. So we look at other intersecting distinctions. So all of these pieces allowed us to create Global Online, which is very distinctive in our country and has all kinds of possibilities. It's helped us develop the new programs in Mexico that I spoke of earlier, the double degree programs that are seeing our growth. And that growth is double because there are students here and there are students in Mexico as well. Successful international athletic programs and other opportunities to support them. So we have a very international athletic program. We have many that are very international, and one of them happens to be artistic swimming. They are a very international team. I learned we just recruited the #2 swimmer from the Netherlands this last year, and part of that, our ability to recruit the #2 swimmer in the world is because we're the #1 program in the world. So let's clap for that. So our artistic swimming team, they won the national championship this year, and you've heard me say it before. There's really not much of a greater feeling than beating Stanford and Ohio State in a sport. I mean, these are highly resourced programs that are internationally known, but this year they don't have one of these. So this was presented to me, and Lisa had appended to by Coach Schuma, who was Coach of the Year, and the seniors from artistic swimming wanted us to have our own memory of being #1 in the country. So sure enough, it says national champions on it, and one side of it, the team got to design the ring. One side of it has a pair of legs in the air coming up the water, which is really creative. And on the other side, it says UIW, and it says that's on word. And so you're saying, that's onward. What is that? So the team told me that this year, they had a saying, anytime something exceptional happened, or that something that was on brand, as we say, that was unique to the University of the Incarnate Word, they would say, that's onward. And so they put that's onward there. And underneath that's onward is the number 1. So it can join the cardinal here. And if you want to see it, come see me afterwards. So there are 2 examples of us being number 1, and I think there are many other ways that we can be number 1 as we continue our work, and to do it in a way that's onward, right? Here's that same chart again with even more expansion of different partners that we have across the institution and system, and this barely scratches the surface. So it's so many different parts of the institution that are really important, and really important in partnership with others. And there's so much more that we can do to see this flywheel completely activated. And my hope is that by 2031, what we see is our system, our university system, fully activated, interconnected, working seamlessly, being leaders in bilingual, binational education, greater synchronicity, collaboration, work across all of the areas of distinction, which really are remarkable to have so many areas of distinction at one university, a radically student-centered approach to serve all better, which in turn serves everyone better, multimodal, multi-degree programs, more robust research opportunities, standards for this era that we are in AI, with a Catholic approach, with the context of Catholic higher education, and that terrific quote that I've been using that's in the position paper from Pope Francis addressing that. It really speaks to the way that we can do it. So we did field a few questions that were set in. Thank you for the questions. I'm going to go through them somewhat quickly because I know we're getting over time. So the first one was, what's our strategy to fund any new academic initiatives? It's a really good question, because what that means is people want to start new academic initiatives. And we want to start new academic initiatives for certain. So when you think about our funding sources, we really have, we have really 3 places for that. One is tuition, others gifts, and then there are grants. Maybe a 4th that could be some kind of in-kind. So when we think about those different things, we have to be good stewards of our financial resources, understanding where they come from. They come from people trusting us with their dollars in different ways. Students and their families. We know that our students and families are, for the most part, they're not affluent. So we need to be very careful with their tuition dollars. Also, those that entrust their money to us to see the work done in philanthropy. And then, of course, the granting agencies. So how do we do that? I mean, one way is to find the money in our existing budgets. So where do we find efficiencies? We might be able to have a lot of new efficiencies. We've seen, by the way, a lot of new efficiencies in IT very recently. Thank you, IT. We've seen a lot of automation, freeing up time, freeing up resources that can then be deployed in other ways. And that is incredibly important. So that's one way. The other is, can we generate a surplus to fund those new initiatives? If we're careful with our costs versus our revenues, we will have enough of a surplus then to fund those new initiatives. And that would be a fantastic way to do it. Another way is to go out and get those dollars for the kinds of things that we want to do it. So it might be grants. That might be one way to do it. The other is straight philanthropy, and the ability to also partner with others that want to see it. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Dean Jeannie Scott is right here in front of me. I was so grateful to spend time with you last week and ask you what was happening, and we were meeting with a group that handles investments, and we're talking about the Bloomberg terminals. And I remember a couple years ago asking Jeannie, what would really be helpful? What do you need? And she said, we really need Bloomberg terminals. They really will change things. And so we went after the funding for Bloomberg terminals, which came from Broadway Bank. Maybe took a year or so to get there, but we got there, and we're really grateful to Broadway Bank for helping us with those terminals, and then to hear the difference that it's making in students' lives was just incredible. So I'm telling you this because it's very helpful for us to know what it is with some specificity, the kinds of things that you need. So going through deans and managers to know what it is that we can go after for philanthropic support is really helpful. There also are other partners. We are working right now with a hospital system to try to get funding to start a certified registered nurse anesthetist program going, which would be tremendous. So there are ways that we can, there are many ways that we can do that. And so those are our strategies in order to fund new initiatives. The second was, what are the qualities you would like to see in the new senior leadership? So the CIO, CFO, and provost. And I think, for me personally, it's of course that they understand, embrace, and can further our mission, but also our core values. So I'm very grateful to our students that taught me the trick to remember our core values by telling me that it's fiesta. And so it's faith, innovation, service, truth, and then there's an A. And so I always said, well, that should stand for action. So these qualities, I'd like for them to be people: faith, innovation, education, service, truth, and action. But it's really not really up to me on those qualities, because we have search committees for all three of them and listening sessions that have been taking place with the search consultants that have come in to hear from you all what qualities you want to see in that, and then the search committee is actually putting together the different job descriptions that talk about what those qualities that we are seeking are. So I thank all of you for going to the sessions, giving the feedback to the search consultants. Thank you, Michael Larkin, my chief of staff, for chairing 3 search committees. And then the search committee members, thank you all for your time, because it's a significant amount of time, and for putting together all of the profiles for the qualities that we would like to see. Next question is, how do you see study abroad integrating into currently existing undergraduate courses? You all probably know, for me, studying abroad was life-changing. I studied abroad in Japan when I was 15 years old, then wanted to go back and go to different places over and over and over. And it transformed my life. It kind of made me who I am. And I'd love for every student to have the opportunity to study abroad, whether it's a short trip that's super impactful with Erlinda to go to Oaxaca, or a semester or a year. Lisa and I had a son who graduated not that long ago, and he did his senior year in Burgos, Spain. And he grew up in a household that told him over and over and over, study abroad, it will change your life. And we will never forget the day that we got a phone call from him saying, Mom and Dad, this is incredible. Study abroad can really change your life. I think everyone should do that, which just validates that, you can tell your children things, but sometimes they just have to experience it themselves. And I think that that's true of all of our students too. So I'd like for them to have the opportunity to do that, short-term or long-term, and really appreciate when we have that integrated into a curriculum or can make curricular space for it. I'm looking at Dr. Glenn Ambrose. I'd really like to see curricular space for double majors. So students can do biology and religious studies, or as an example. So because I think students would like to do that. So creating that curricular space. And there's a program that we have where that was done within business, and this is in partnership with SRH, which is a really great private institution in Heidelberg, Germany. And when students do a year there, or they do a year here, depending on where they come from, and take a certain number of courses that are integrated into their curriculum, they can get a degree, a double degree. And it's a wonderful example of the kinds of things that I think are possible. So we had a student who did this and graduated, and I thought that student, the first student that we would have been from the San Antonio campus. Turns out it was from CIW. in Mexico City. And this student was amazing. He is so multilingual, multinational, and at his graduation, he just kept saying, "Thank you so much for this opportunity. I can't believe, that I was able to do this." And Marcos and I were just thinking, no, thank you for doing it, because not only did he get a double degree, he got a triple degree. He got a degree from the campus at CIW, the Mexican accredited degree. He got the US, UIW, San Antonio degree, and he got the SRH German degree. And he did his thesis with PepsiCo, and they hired him like that. And so now, do we have 2 or 3? 3. We have, good, I'm glad it was a higher number. We have 3 students now from CIW in Mexico City that are pursuing the triple degree. So, this is just incredible. So this is an example, and that's one way that is also really unique and distinctive. So what else can we do that's like that? Can you provide an update on Founders Hall? Yes, I can. So there's a really lengthy, there's an 8-minute long video that is online on the president's page, linking to it. I also sent out an email. They gave a bit of an update. It's going to be spectacular. It is a massive building, and seeing it gutted and the light coming in now, and where the vertical transportation of the elevator shafts are, and where the stairwell is going to be, and drywall going up, and lab space, and the new home of our radio station. I mean, it's really exciting to see how it's taking shape, and it's going to be a great addition. So by way of update, I would encourage you to go look at that, because it probably gives you the best idea of what it looks like visually. We hope that it will be completed, and it's not only on schedule, they're a little ahead of schedule last I heard, so they're making really good progress. So by the summer of not this coming summer, but the next summer, we'll be moving the academic programs in, and probably by December, a year from now, we'll be able to move in international into that first floor space that will house international in the Lewis Center and have the auditorium space. So I also just kind of want to go back to not only the update, let's think about the beginning of it, and not forget that space means a lot to the campus. Parking was alleviated almost immediately. It expands our footprint by 20%. It connects us to the river and what is going to be the Spirit Reach, which hopefully this time next year I'll have a great update on that with city and county moving forward on the connections there, and how we get underneath Hildebrand along the river as the extension from the museum reach through the park, through campus. It's a great connector for us with San Antonio, and it also provides us with some swing space and just much needed space, period. We're bumping elbows in a lot of ways, and this will help us tremendously, and did almost immediately. So we're very excited about all of the different things that Founders Hall brings to us. So this is the last question. What is an example of mission-driven excellence? And I hope that I've given examples of mission-driven excellence today through the work on our mission trips. Those are certainly an example of mission-driven excellence. The examples of the Lilly grant and what's possible there, I think that is a great example of mission-driven excellence. I think the best example of our mission-driven excellence, and by the way, I think also artistic swimming. I'm going to throw that one out there again, because I don't know if I mentioned they had a 3.87 GPA, and they had the highest team GPA. So really amazing. That's an example of mission-driven excellence. They're on word. But I think the greatest example of mission-driven excellence, and I wish that you all could see and hear all of the different stories that I hear from our alumni, because they're the word in the world, and they have been transformed by their time here at the University of Incarnate Word with all of us, our faculty, what happened in the classroom, what happens outside of the classroom, the connections that they have with everyone throughout the community, to then graduate and go on and be the word in the world, and then tell they will tell me, they'll tell Rick too, as we're on the road, with tears in their eyes, how UIW changed their lives for the better, that they are people of faith, that they've got their faith here, was deepened and strengthened at the University of Incarnate Word. They found their passion, they found their vocation, sometimes they found their spouse. It made all the difference, and then they went out to be the Word in the world. And I think that is the best example of mission-driven excellence that we have. And I can't help but think of our founding sisters, the founding sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word, what they went through to come here and start, what was started, and what would they think today? What would they think today if they could see the extension of the healing hands of Christ in mission and on mission trips? What would they think if they were on this campus just walking through the Student Engagement Center on midday? What would they think if they saw artistic swimming in the pool? That would probably blow their minds, right? Never imagine that. How proud they would be to see Anna and Galilea. And I think, what would they say? And I think they would say what I'm going to end with: praise be the incarnate Word. Forever, amen.